Good afternoon, everybody. My dear principal and the team ISP, Dr. Mohan sir, and my dear faculty members and dear students. The topic I took is epigenetics and homeopathy, which was suggested by National Commission of Homeopathy. See, we are all same. Our genes are fixed. But why do individuals with similar genetic makeup with even identical twins suffer with different diseases? Modern science answers with this as because of epigenetics, a field that reveals the truth. Health and disease are determined by genes alone, but by how these genes are expressed. Genes are expressed in dynamic, responsive and influenced by environment, stress, nutrition and internal state. But more than 2 centuries ago, Hahnemann, who was the real epigenetist, who introduced the theory of vital force, individualization, which now the modern medicine says as epigenetic. He says that the diseases are not being a structural changes, but a dynamic disturbance of the vital force. These are 2 different eras, 2 different terminologies, because it was 200 years ago what Hahnemann says, but now the modern science says that it is all because of epigenetics, that even the two identical twins also suffers with different complaints. Yeah. Alright. To understand how homeopathic remedies signaling works, we first look at the standard flow of genetic information. Replication. DNA makes a copy of itself. Transcription DNA is read to create mRNA. Translation mRNA is used as a template to build proteins. In the molecular biology, we say DNA replication, transcription, DNA and protein. In homeopathic correlation, genetics focuses on templates, epigenetics and homeopathics focus on transcription, deciding which part of the template is actually used based on the vital force or the environment. To understand what is epigenetics. While genetics is the study of DNA sequence, we can say that it is a hardware. Epigenetics, which is the software of the human body. It is the study of how cells control gene activity without changing the DNA sequence. Actually, the DNA sequence will not change at any time. Well, think of your DNA is a piano keyboard, as how our fingers play in the piano. The keys, the genes are how fixed. However, the epigenetics, the pianist who decides which notes to play or which notes to stop. That is how the vital force plays in the human body. The two mechanisms that play in epigenetics: DNA methylation, that is a chemical makeup which added to a gene, usually turning it off. Histone modification. DNA wraps around the proteins called histones. If they wrap tightly, the gene is hidden and silenced. If they loosen, the gene is expressed. Many of the times, many of the cells, when they are silenced, many of the cells, unwanted cells activated, that causes cancer also. That is the reason how cancer cells are multiplied. The empty cells, unwanted cells multiply, causes cancerous in nature. Genetics, the blueprint of the body. Epigenetics, the architect. Focus, the DNA sequence. Epigenetics is the expression of the DNA. Expression of the DNA. Always epigenetics plays based on your emotions, based on your stress, based on our conditions that we expose. Stability, static. Genetics is static, set a conception. Dynamic. Epigenetics is dynamic, always changes based on your lifestyle. Reversibility. Generally, gene is permanent. Epigenetics is reversible via your lifestyle, your management, your change of lifestyle, your way of taking the treatment, your way of thinking, and everything. The analogy is the printed script of a play is genetics. Actors, that performance, that script is epigenetics. So how we can correlate with this epigenetics and homeopathy? As I said, the most exciting part is that Samuel Hahnemann was the first epigenetics, though it was a theoretical, because he was the first person who said individualization, who said vital force plays the major role in our life, who discovered the susceptibility and all. So susceptibility is nothing but epigenetic plasticity. In homeopathy, susceptibility is the degree to which an individual reacts to stimuli. In biology, the epigenetic plasticity, how easily your dimmer switches move in response to your environment. It may be both external environment or your internal environment. That is how your body or your mental condition is. To correlate with miasms, the transgenerational epigenetic inheritance. Though modern science now proves that trauma, nutrition, disease in grandparents can leave epigenetic marks on the sperms and eggs, affecting the health of the third and fourth generations. So Hahnemann says that stigma is that what we get from parents through SORA, psychosis, and syphilis. Nowadays, we are observing even the allopathics telling that they are using individualized antibiotics based on this epigenetic theory. Individualized antibiotic. For typhoid, they are detecting an individual antibiotic. They cannot prescribe for all typhoid people same antibiotic now. The remedy and the dynamic signal. Homeopathic remedy is a nano medicine that provides a high frequency signal. This signal is that tells that vital force when to silence and when to activate. That is what our homeopathic remedies do at nanoparticle level. That what our remedies act at cell level. That's why many of the doctors says that even when we take the medicine, our medicine starts from the tongue itself if we prescribe a proper accurate remedy. That the moment we give, it starts its action. So how we can correlate with this aphorisms? Hahnemann already gave in Organon of Medicine. How this can be correlated? Aphorism 9 and 10 tells that vital force. That is what we say epigenetic controller. The vital force is the biological director or the epigenome. The vital force is the biological director that directs our body. Aphorism number 11 and 12 says the functional disturbances precedes the structural changes. Before our structure changes, the function changes starts. Before the function in the body changing starts, the function in the mind starts. Epigenetic signaling changes occur before the physical pathology. Aphorism 31 says that environmental triggers, this is the definition of epigenetic susceptibility. Well, aphorism 78 and 80 says the chronic miasms as a transgenerational inheritance. Transgenerational epigenetic inheritance. From generation to generation, it transforms. Aphorism 153 says the point of individualization. The point of individualization. That is what epigenetics speaks. The point of individualization. Targeting. Epigenetic targeting. Aphorism number 5 says the fundamental cause. That also plays a major role in epigenetic problem. Fundamental cause. We should treat the fundamental cause also. Now, I want to correlate with this, how this epigenetics we apply in the case, how we can correlate. I have taken two cases. One, a long case, a patient of prostatic cancer which was diagnosed. I am not going the total case history and all those things, it takes a long, because the case was taken in the year 2011, diagnosed. How triggers the epigenetics? In this point, in this case, I want to say how epigenetics triggers. This was the case of prostate cancer, which was treated in the year 2011. His PSA was 84. And after the proper evaluation of the case, in 1.5 year, a period of 1.5 year, the PSA came to 2, which is below 4, which is a normal range. It means for the last 13 years he was under my treatment. Regularly he is having diabetes, he is having gastric problem. For all these problems he was under my treatment. But in the year 2024, here what I want to stress on the epigenetics. Here there was a problem came in his family. In the internal family with his sons there was a problem. struggle, a mental trauma, again triggered, again triggered. See how the gene was suppressed, then the gene that causes cancer was silenced, but again it was triggered. That triggering factor is mental trauma. And now it was aggravated. So many complaints. Even the penis was swollen with offensive discharge. Again I retook the case and I gave phosphorus LM, and after 2 months so that was wrong. In the year 25 only it came to 42, and recently the PSA level was 0.8. The PSA level was 0.8. The swelling of the, and this, for this I gave counseling to him and to his in-laws and to his sons also. Your father condition is such. If you leave him, his age is, remember, he came to me when he was 67. Now his age is 82. Now he was active. After taking recent PET scan, he was normal. That is how the epigenetics that interferes when our life events changes. And now I want to compare, sorry. These are two twins, identical twins. See there, that is the different case. This was another case, two identical twins who are having almost same DNA. The DNA is almost same, but how this epigenetic factor plays? One twin has localized melasma, the other is with rheumatoid arthritis. The question, why does the same genetic soil produce two vastly different diseases? Why does? Both the genes are same. Identical twins, 99.9% will find the same genes, DNA is same, but the problems are different. The thinking is different. Even the persons, they think differently. You might expect both to share inflammatory risks due to ancestry history. The epigenetic reality, different lifestyles. See, both have different lifestyles. Both have different emotional landscapes. That created the epigenetic drift. That created the epigenetic drift. Twin A's protective factors. She said she is having good understanding, easy taking. When both came at the same time to me. Both came at the same time. One time only they came. Twin A said the easy, good understanding, easy taking. When I asked her mental symptoms, sir, why should bother? Why should why should I take suffering? I take easily. I don't bother anybody. Everything I take easily, and I understand the surroundings. In the second one says, negative thinking, always anxiety. Though both have the same genes, she says, sir, I am having lot of negative thinking. I broods on constantly past events. The persistent chemical signal from priming the hair immune system to attack on its tissues. Citrin A is melasma, physical exposure, daily exposure to computer, more than 10 hours she sits in front of computer, localized hyperpigmentation, internal stability is epigenetic outcome. Twin B, rheumatoid arthritis, psychosocial stress. This is how stress level express systemic immune dysregulation, where rheumatoid arthritis occurs in twin B. The miasmatic representation, epigenetic marks passed down through the generations, psoriatic and syphilitic, hyperreact destructive signaling leading to rheumatoid arthritis. Twin A, proliferative, psychotic in nature, pigmentary signaling leading to melasma. That remedies are different. You can take your one got lycopodium, another sepia. Functional precedes the structural. In all three cases, the change in vital force. The change in vital force, epigenetic signaling, preceded the rise in PSAN. One case, precision medicine. Homeopathy is the ultimate precision medicine because it treats the individualized epigenome, not just the genetic name of the disease. Final message what I want to say, our genes are not our destiny, they are the conversation with our environment and our mind. The trinity of health is genetics, regulation, restoration, epigenetics, dysregulation, homeopathy can correct. Well, the real question is, does the homeopathy proves the epigenetics? Does the homeopathy proves the epigenetics? Is it yes or not, sir? Huh? We are not criticizing any system or anyone. Though different systems, we should think beyond the boundaries. We should think beyond boundaries. And to explore medicine at molecular level and meaningful way. Because the future of the medicine may not belongs to one system alone. The future of medicine may not belongs to one system alone. This is what epigenetics and homeopathy. When science begins to explain what observation has long evacuated, or what observation has long revealed, it is not coincidence, it is the convergence. It is the convergence. It is what we should understand. We need not criticize anyone. Not the single system can treat anybody. So everybody is having their own limitations. We should understand the patient. This is how we can correlate Though our approaches are different. Our approaches may be different, but our destination should be one. The truth is that our destination is always one. What is our destination? The aphorism number 1. So genetics is the blueprint, but homeopathy guides the expression. Individualization is not a philosophy, it is a biological necessity. Clinical evidence proves the dynamic remedies that reset the epigenetic dimmer switch. Thank you. Thank you, my dear friends, colleagues, and IPH Foundation for your patient listening.